Hey everyone. You ever feel like you're just missing out on the now? Like your mind is just going a million miles a minute.
It's so common these
It
days.
is.
It really
It's
is.
like we're wired for distraction.
Exactly.
But the stuff you sent over about being present,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty amazing actually.
Yeah,
Like there's some seriously eye-opening stuff in there.
absolutely.
And it's not just about feeling zen. We're talking
Yeah.
about like real benefits
Yeah.
for your relationships, for your focus,
Mm-hmm.
even your emotional intelligence.
It's about intentional living.
I'm excited to dive into this with you today, so
Me too.
wait, buckle up.
You're right. The benefits go way beyond just stress reduction,
Right.
which is great, of course,
Yeah,
but it's more than that.
absolutely.
And, you sent over a mix of articles,
Yeah.
a blog post from Calm, even some personal notes. It's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah. Clearly, finding more presence is important to you.
It seems like it.
It is. So let's unpack this, shall we?
Let's do it.
First things first.
Okay.
Why is it so hard to stay present?
Oh, it's a great question.
I mean, like, I can't be the only one who's
Right.
doing the dishes and suddenly my mind is on a beach in Bali.
You're definitely not alone.
Okay, good.
Our brains are just constantly bombarded with stimuli.
Mm.
It's no wonder we feel pulled in a million directions.
Yeah.
Think about it, technology,
Uh-huh.
overflowing schedules,
Yeah.
anxieties.
It's a lot.
It all contributes to this always-on feeling.
So it's not just me then.
Definitely not.
Phew.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. If it's so tough,
Yeah,
is it even worth the effort?
that's a great question. It's
Yeah.
like anything worthwhile, it takes effort,
Mm-hmm.
but the payoff can be huge.
Okay.
Imagine truly being able to listen to your loved ones,
Yeah.
understanding not just their words,
Mm-hmm.
but their unspoken needs and feelings.
Wow.
Or picture getting so absorbed in a creative project
Uh-huh.
that you lose track of time. You reach that flow state.
That's the dream.
Right, where you're incredibly productive.
Okay, those are some pretty compelling examples.
Yeah,
But how do we move from mind constantly racing
right.
to totally in the zone?
Yeah, that's the question.
But that Calm blog post mentioned a whole bunch of benefits.
It did.
Beyond stress reduction,
Mhm.
improved relationships, enhanced focus,
Yeah,
even something called emotional intelligence.
that's a big one.
What is that?
Those are just a few of the amazing perks.
Okay.
Think of it this way. Think of
Okay.
it this way. When you're present, you're more attuned to your own emotions and the emotions of those around you.
Interesting.
This can lead to more empathy, better communication,
Yeah.
stronger relationships.
Think so.
And when you're not constantly distracted by worries or to-do lists, you can channel your energy into the task at hand,
Yeah.
leading to deeper focus and ultimately greater productivity.
Okay, so being present is like
Yeah,
unlocking a superpower.
it can feel that way.
I'm all in, but how do we actually do it?
Well, that's where mindfulness comes into play.
Mindfulness.
Yeah, and before you roll your eyes
I was going to say,
and think meditation retreats and chanting,
yeah.
hear me out. It's actually a lot more accessible than you might think. It really is.
Okay.
It's about training your mind to be more aware of the present moment,
Mm-hmm.
your thoughts, feelings, sensations, and surroundings
Okay.
without judgment.
So it's like hitting the mental gym.
It is, in a way.
I'm down for a good brain workout. But where do we even begin?
Well, one of the articles you shared,
Okay.
How to Stay in the Present Moment,
Uh-huh.
it had a great point about recognizing distraction.
Okay.
The first step is to become aware of when your mind wanders.
Okay.
Notice
Yeah.
those telltale signs,
Like what?
rushing through tasks,
Mm-hmm.
dwelling on the past or future,
Yeah.
or completely tuning out your surroundings.
Oh, so just noticing those moments is part of it.
It is.
It seems almost too simple.
It might seem simple,
Yeah.
but it's a crucial first step.
Oh.
It's like shining a light on those habitual thought patterns
Mm-hmm.
that pull us away from the present.
Interesting.
And from there, we can start to gently guide our attention back to the now.
Okay, I mean, this is where it gets really interesting,
It
right?
does.
Because the article also mentioned using specific cues or reminders to
Right.
snap back into the present moment.
Yes.
And it talked about something as simple as a beaded bracelet.
Oh, yeah.
Every time you touch it,
Yeah,
you're reminded to be mindful.
exactly.
I love that idea.
It's a great one.
It's like a little secret signal to your brain.
Exactly. It can be anything that resonates with you.
Oh, okay.
A particular scent,
Mm-hmm.
a phrase you repeat to yourself,
Yeah.
even a specific place you visit.
Wow.
The key is to consciously associate that cue with the intention of being present.
Okay.
It's like creating a mental shortcut back to the now.
I like that.
Yeah. And speaking of shortcuts, meditation is like the express lane to building your mindfulness muscles.
Ah, meditation. I knew we'd get there eventually.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've always struggled with like quieting my mind.
Right.
It feels like asking a 5-year-old to sit still.
I get it. That's a common misconception, though.
Is it?
It's not about emptying your mind completely.
Oh, okay.
It's more about creating space between your thoughts
Uh-huh.
and observing them without judgment.
Okay.
It's about strengthening your ability to choose where you direct your attention.
So it's more about managing the mental chaos
Exactly.
than silencing it completely.
Yeah.
Okay, that feels a bit more doable.
Right. And there are different types of meditation.
There are.
The article, How to Stay in the Present Moment, highlighted concentration meditation.
Okay.
It's all about focusing on a single point,
Like what?
like your breath,
Mm-hmm.
a mantra,
Yeah.
or even a physical sensation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if my mind wanders off to, say, planning my next grocery list,
Mhm.
I just gently guide it back to my breath.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's like doing bicep curls for your brain.
I like that.
Each time you redirect your attention, you're strengthening those mindfulness muscles,
So it gets easier.
making it easier to stay present in everyday life.
This is good stuff.
It
But what about those times when,
Yeah.
life throws a curveball
Mm-hmm.
and anxiety just takes over? Does
Mhm.
mindfulness still work then?
That's a great question, and that's where we can tap into the wisdom of the Stoics.
Okay.
How to stay in the present moment touched on a couple of their principles that I think you'll find incredibly helpful.
Stoicism.
Yes.
It sounds a bit intimidating.
I know.
Like something you'd study in a dusty old philosophy book.
Yeah, it might sound that way, but it's actually surprisingly practical.
Oh.
One key principle is the dichotomy of control.
Dichotomy of control.
Yes.
Well, that sounds intense. Break it down for me.
Okay, so it's about recognizing that there are things we can control,
Okay.
our thoughts, actions
Yeah.
and reactions, and
Sure.
things we can't, the
Yeah.
weather, other people's opinions, the stock market.
Okay, so instead of stressing about things outside my control,
Exactly.
I should focus on what I can actually influence.
Yes. It's about shifting your energy from worry to action.
That's powerful.
It is.
Instead of getting caught up in what ifs and maybes,
Right.
you focus on making choices and taking steps that align with your values and goals.
I love that.
That's a really empowering way to look at it. What was that other Stoic principle?
Amor fati,
Amor fati.
which translates to love of fate.
Okay, before you think I'm suggesting you become a fortune cookie enthusiast, let me explain.
Oh, I was going to ask about that.
Okay, so love of fate definitely sounds intriguing.
So it's about embracing the unknown with courage and openness,
Okay.
rather than fearing it.
Instead of like dreading what might happen,
Yeah.
you approach the future with curiosity
Exactly.
and a belief that I can handle whatever comes my way.
Yes, it's about shifting from a mindset of fear and resistance to one of acceptance and resilience.
So instead of resisting change or trying to control every outcome,
Yes.
I should embrace the journey and trust that I have the strength to navigate whatever challenges arise.
You got it.
Wow.
It can be a game changer when it comes to navigating life's ups and downs.
I can see how that ties into being present.
Definitely.
If I'm constantly worrying about a future or dwelling on the past,
Right.
I'm missing out on the beauty and richness of this moment.
You are.
But if I can approach life with a sense of curiosity and trust,
Mm-hmm.
then each experience, whether positive or challenging,
Yes.
becomes an opportunity for growth.
Exactly. It's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity and fear to one of abundance and possibility.
I'm starting to see how these seemingly disparate ideas,
Yeah.
mindfulness, stoicism, even those practical tips from the articles,
Right.
they all weave together into like a tapestry of intentional living.
I love that analogy. It's like having a toolkit for presence, filled with different instruments and techniques to help you create a life that feels more aligned, more joyful, and more fulfilling.
I mean, who wouldn't want that?
Exactly.
But let's get real for a second.
Okay.
All this talk of mindfulness and stoicism is great,
Yeah.
but how do we actually implement these ideas in our crazy busy lives?
That's where those practical tips we keep mentioning come in handy.
Okay, so like what?
They're like bite-sized pieces of wisdom
Uh-huh.
that you can easily integrate into your daily routine.
Give me some examples.
Yeah.
I'm all about actionable advice.
Okay, well, the Calm blog post had a fantastic grounding exercise called the 5-4-3-2-1 method.
I've heard of that. Where you name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, and so on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a sensory checklist for bringing yourself back to the present moment.
Super simple,
It is.
but effective.
Right.
It's a great one.
And it only takes a few minutes.
Okay, I'm adding that to my mental toolbox
Yeah.
for sure. What other gems did the articles offer up?
How to Stay in the Present Moment had some great advice on managing distractions,
Mm-hmm.
particularly those pesky digital ones.
Ugh, yes, please.
One strategy that stood out was being intentional about transitions between activities.
Okay.
Those gaps in our day, waiting in line, commuting, even those few minutes before a meeting,
Yeah,
those are prime times for mindless scrolling or getting lost in anxious thoughts.
they are.
So instead of automatically reaching for your phone during those downtime moments,
Yeah,
you could use that time to take a few deep breaths, savor a cup of coffee, or simply observe your surroundings.
I like that.
It's about making conscious choices rather than reacting out of habit.
So it's like reclaiming those little pockets of time and turning
Exactly.
them into opportunities for presence. What other distraction busting tips did you come across?
Another one that resonated with me was about letting your values guide your tasks.
Okay.
When you're clear about why you're doing something,
Uh-huh.
whether it's a work project, a household chore, or spending time with loved ones, you're less likely to get sidetracked by distractions or bogged down by resentment.
So it's about connecting to the deeper purpose behind our actions.
Exactly.
That makes so much sense.
It does.
If I'm working on a project that I'm passionate about,
Yeah,
I'm way more focused and engaged than if I'm just going through the motions.
absolutely. And remember, distractions aren't always external.
Oh, what do you mean?
Sometimes it's our own thoughts that pull us away from the present moment.
Oh, yeah.
That inner critic can be a real buzzkill.
Tell me about it. I could be having a lovely conversation with a friend,
Yeah.
and suddenly my mind is replaying that awkward thing I said 5 years ago.
Oh, I hate that.
It's like my brain is determined to sabotage any moment of peace.
We've all been there.
Okay, good.
But the sources remind us that we have the power to manage those thoughts.
I do.
It's not about suppressing them or pretending they don't exist,
Right.
but rather observing them without judgment and gently redirecting our attention back to the present.
So it's like we're training our inner critic to be a bit less judgmental and a bit
Yeah.
more supportive.
Exactly. And the more we practice, the easier it becomes.
You know, one of the things that struck me from How to Stay in the Present Moment was the idea that the most precious gift we can offer anyone is our attention.
Oh, that's a good one.
It really highlights how powerful presence can be in our interactions with others.
It really does. When we give someone our undivided attention,
Mm-hmm.
we're not only showing them respect,
Yeah.
we're also deepening our own understanding and connection.
Yeah.
Think about a time when someone truly listened to you
Okay.
without interrupting, offering unsolicited advice, or checking their phone every 5 seconds.
Oh, the worst.
How did that feel?
It's amazing how much of a difference it makes.
It is.
You feel heard, validated, understood. It's like a weight lifts off your shoulders.
Exactly. And on the flip side, when we're distracted,
Uh-huh.
we miss out on those subtle cues, those unspoken emotions that enrich our relationships.
So presence is not just about personal well-being,
Right.
but also about creating more meaningful connections with others. I like that it gives it a whole new dimension.
It does. It's about showing up fully in all areas of our lives,
Okay.
with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us. And speaking of showing up fully,
Yeah.
did you notice how much the Calm blog post emphasized self-appreciation as a key benefit of presence?
I did, but I'm curious, how does that work exactly?
Well, when you're fully present, you're more attuned to your thoughts, feelings, and sensations.
Okay.
You can observe yourself without judgment,
Mm-hmm.
noticing both your strengths and weaknesses with a sense of acceptance.
So it's like we're becoming our own best friend,
Exactly.
offering ourselves the same kindness and compassion we would extend to someone we care about.
Yes. We cultivate a deeper connection with ourselves, which allows us to appreciate our uniqueness and embrace our imperfections.
You know, I've always struggled with self-criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why I find it so hard to stay present.
It's possible.
It's like if I'm not constantly analyzing and judging myself, then who am I?
That's a powerful insight, and it's something that many of us can relate to.
Really?
We've been conditioned to believe that we need to constantly strive for improvement,
Yeah.
that we're not good enough as we are.
It's exhausting.
It is, but presence invites us to challenge those beliefs
Okay.
and simply be with ourselves as we are in this moment.
Wow. That's a profound thought. And it kind of brings us full circle to the idea that presence is not just about reducing stress or improving focus,
Right.
but rather about fundamentally changing our relationship with ourselves and the world around us.
It's about waking up to the richness of life, appreciating the beauty in the mundane, and finding joy in the simplest of moments.
I love it. It's like we're not just trying to cram more into our day.
Yeah.
but rather savoring each moment as it unfolds.
Exactly. And it's a practice, not a destination.
Right.
We're constantly learning and growing, finding new ways to cultivate presence in our lives.
We've covered a lot of ground today,
We have.
from recognizing distractions to understanding the dichotomy of control, from simple grounding exercises to embracing the philosophy of amor fati.
Yes.
We've explored a wealth of information on the power of now. But hold on, there's more.
Okay.
We'll be right back to wrap up our deep dive into unlocking the power of now. And we're back, ready to wrap up our deep dive
I know.
into the power of now.
I love it.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling energized and inspired to
Me too.
bring more presence into my life.
It's contagious.
It is, but it's one thing to talk about it.
Right.
It's another to actually do it.
Absolutely. It takes practice and commitment. But the good news is you don't have to become a Zen master overnight.
Okay, so no need to trade in my smartphone for a meditation cushion just yet.
Not yet.
I was kind of getting used to the idea of a silent retreat.
Maybe down the road.
Yeah.
But for now, it's about finding simple ways to weave presence into the fabric of your everyday life.
And that's what I love about all the sources you helped me explore.
Yeah.
It wasn't just lofty concepts.
Right.
There were so many practical takeaways.
Remember that grounding exercise we talked about?
Yeah.
The 5-4-3-2-1 method?
Uh-huh.
That's something you can do anytime, anywhere to reconnect with the present moment.
Totally. And what about being more mindful during those
Yes.
transitional moments throughout the day?
Love it.
Like, instead of reaching for my phone while waiting in line,
Right.
I can use that time to
Yeah.
take a few conscious breaths or simply observe my surroundings.
Exactly. Those little pockets of time can become mini retreats for cultivating presence.
I like that.
And let's not forget the power of connecting to your values.
Oh, yeah.
When you align your actions with your why,
Uh-huh.
you're more likely to stay focused and engaged even when faced with distractions.
It's like we're creating a ripple effect.
Yes.
By cultivating more presence in our own lives.
Yeah.
We naturally bring more intention and awareness to our interactions with others,
I love that.
ultimately creating a more connected and fulfilling world.
Beautifully said. And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Okay, Hebe.
What is one small step you can take today to be more present in your life?
Maybe it's setting aside 5 minutes for a mindful breathing exercise, putting your phone away during dinner,
Great one.
or simply taking a moment to appreciate the beauty of a sunset.
Remember, every moment is an opportunity to reconnect with the power of now.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into unlocking the power of now.
That was fun.
We hope you found these insights as valuable as we did.
I did for sure.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the show for more deep dives into fascinating topics.
Awesome.
Until next time, fellow explorers.